Welcome back to ChisME, the financial gossip segment of Money Elementary, where we spill the tea on the latest money moves. I'm Heidi.
And I'm Vanessa. And today we're diving into the drama again for an update on the one big beautiful bill, aka the big brutal bill.
All right, picture this. Your household budget is like a balloon. You blow in a little air for rent, food, and gas. But now imagine Congress keeps adding more and more air. That balloon? It's stretching to its limits. And this bill? It's like trying to stuff in helium and confetti. Loud, sparkly, and one bad gust from popping.
Joining us for the inflation-free breakdown is our co-host MEIA, our Money Elementary intelligence assistant.
Hello, Heidi and Vanessa. I'm ready to unpack the glitz, glitter, and grim consequences of this bill.
Let's start with the basics. The bill aims to make the 2017 tax cuts permanent, eliminate taxes on tips and overtime, and increase the SALT deduction cap to $40,000 for those earning under $500,000.
And for anyone confused, SALT stands for state and local taxes, not the seasoning. Currently, you can only deduct up to $10,000 in state and local taxes on your federal return. That cap has been painful for people living in high tax states like New York and California, and even here in Texas if you own valuable property.
And here's a real-world example. Let's say you bought a home for $1 million, and your annual property tax bill is $25,000. Under today's tax law, you'd only be able to deduct $10,000 of that on your federal return. But under this bill, if your household income is under $500,000, you could now deduct the $25,000, saving you thousands more in federal taxes.
So who actually wins here?
Mainly upper middle class and wealthy households in high tax, high property value states like California, New York, and New Jersey. These are people who make solid six-figure incomes and own expensive homes. Lower income families don't usually pay enough in state and local taxes to hit the cap anyway, so this change doesn't benefit them much.
Okay, so this bill sells itself as middle class relief, but the real gains go to the top slice of earners, just under that $500K cutoff.
Exactly. It's relief for the comfortable, not the struggling.
That's a game changer for upper middle class families in big cities. More money stays in their pockets.
But there's a catch. There's always a catch. MEIA, explain why this deduction is also a headache for the federal budget.
Because every dollar you deduct is a dollar the government doesn't collect. Expanding the SALT cap means the federal government loses billions in tax revenue. And that's just one reason the Congressional Budget Office projects this bill would add $2.4 trillion to the deficit over the next decade.
And that's a trillion with a T.
That's like putting an $18,000 IOU on every American household. And while tax cuts feel great now, someone's got to pay that bill eventually.
So what happens when we just keep spending?
Long term, a ballooning deficit can mean higher interest rates, pressure on inflation, and less money for emergencies like natural disasters, wars, or the next economic meltdown.
And investors could lose confidence. If they stop trusting our ability to pay our debts, they'll demand higher returns. That raises borrowing costs for the government and for us.
Just to break it down, this means more expensive mortgages, credit cards, and student loans. Big yikes.
And it's not just spending. The bill proposes cuts to programs like Medicaid, SNAP, student loan forgiveness, and green energy incentives to try to balance the deficit.
So we're handing out tax breaks with one hand and cutting aid with the other.
Sounds like a wealth transfer from the bottom to the top.
Yep.
To sweeten the deal politically, the bill also introduces the Trump account, a $1,000 fund for each child born between 2025 and 2029 invested in a U.S. equity index fund.
So every newborn gets a stock portfolio?
That's the idea. But with no plan on how to fund those accounts long term, it feels more like a PR pitch than a solid policy, to be honest.
Former government efficiency czar Elon Musk yes, that Elon, has already come out against the bill, calling it fiscally reckless with a glossy name.
This bill passed the House, but barely, with 215 to 214 vote.
It's now in the Senate, where it's facing serious scrutiny, thank goodness.
Right.
Some Republicans are uncomfortable with the debt ceiling increase. Others don't love the social program cuts. And Democrats, they're calling it a tax cut for the rich, dressed as a middle-class relief.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the debt ceiling, the bill raises it by $4 trillion. That alone is enough to spark panic in markets.
We've seen this play before. Debt ceiling debates that stall budgets, freeze programs, and even risk government shutdowns. You've heard on the news, government shutdown.
Mm-hmm. And if this doesn't pass, we might be back to stopgap spending bills, political standoffs, and finger pointing across the aisles.
All while real families wait on lawmakers to figure out if their healthcare, food assistance, or tax refunds will survive the fallout.
All right, so that wraps up this part of the bill, and now we're going to do our recap.
Womp, 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 womp. Whew, this is a lot to unpack. This is a humongous bill, FYI. So the One Big Beautiful Bill makes 2017 tax cuts permanent. It removes taxes on tips and overtime and raises the SALT deduction cap to $40,000.
That change could save families thousands, like someone with a $1 million home and a $25,000 property tax bill who can now deduct the whole thing.
Oh my, the rich are going to get savings.
Oh, I know, they really needed it, right?
But the real winners here are high earners just under the 500K mark, while lower income folks, like me, see little to no benefit.
The bill is projected to add $2.4 trillion to the federal deficit, and it raises the debt ceiling by another $4 trillion.
It squeaked through the House and now faces resistance in the Senate, with critics calling it fiscally reckless and socially regressive. Facts.
Mm-hmm. It's the kind of political cocktail that could leave the economy tipsy.
Drunk. Stumbling.
Right?
Before we go, here are 10 more major moves packed into the One Big Beautiful Bill that you need to know about.
1. The bill permanently expands the employer-provided childcare credit. Businesses can now claim up to $500,000 to $600,000 if you're a small business, just for helping your employees with childcare.
2. It boosts the adoption tax credit and makes it easier for Native American children to qualify as special needs for the purpose of adoption assistance. That
3.
one sounds kind of nice.
Yeah, it does. This bill is funny because it sprinkles these nice ones here and there, and then it surprises you with some other ones. You're like, but
Yes.
that one's good.
So it's like very piecemealed.
Yes. 3. There's a new tax credit for donations to private school scholarship funds. Translation: more public money indirectly supporting private education. See that one right there? That one sounds like, doesn't public school still need money?
Right.
Why are we giving it to private schools? But okay.
4. A special depreciation allowance now lets businesses write off investments in things like all-terrain vehicles and RVs, but only if they're made in the U.S., aka, let's cue the lobbyists.
And this one sounds like, oh, look, let's go ahead and let them write off their toys.
Absolutely.
5. The bill enhances opportunity zones, which are meant to drive investment in low-income neighborhoods. Critics say it often opens up helping luxury developers instead.
Another one. 6. It extends the exclusion of student loans discharged due to death or disability from being counted as taxable income. A win for struggling borrowers, at least.
Yeah, that one sounds,
That sounds helpful.
One. Yeah. 7. It permanently enhances the deduction for foreign-derived intangible income and global low-tax income. That's corporate speak for giving multinational companies a serious break. Yeah, that's that. Again, that's like, okay, we're going to give pennies here, but we're going to give millions over there.
There's a discrepancy here, a big discrepancy. All right, number 8. Paid family and medical leave. It gives a boost through an expanded employer credit, but it still relies heavily on voluntary action, no federal mandate.
Yeah, are employers really going to go ahead and say, you know what? We're going to start doing this paid family and medical leave. No, the history has said usually they're forced to do things.
Yep.
9. There's an extension of the base erosion minimum tax, targeting companies that shift profits overseas. Think of it as a band-aid on corporate tax games.
10. And yes, there's even a new bonus depreciation rule for production property, meaning businesses that manufacture in the U.S. can deduct big upfront.
And here's a bonus one. 11. The bill rewrites the student loan playbook. It eliminates Grad Plus loans, caps federal loans at $50,000 for undergrads, and $100,000 for grad students. This scraps the public service loan forgiveness and narrows repayment options, pushing more borrowers towards private loans with tougher terms. So to me, that means it's going to be much more difficult to get that degree because the price of college overall has increased, but now there's going to be caps on loans that you can get federal loans, which federal loans usually don't have as much interest as the private loans.
That we can just have a whole episode on that topic because it's a huge deal right now in our government, in our economy, for the students that have to repay.
That's the real story behind the sparkle. 50-plus tax tweaks, corporate wins, and controversial cuts hiding in one glittery package.
Whether you love it or loathe it, this bill isn't just one page. It's over 1,000 pages. So stay alert and read beyond the headlines.
Absolutely. There's so much that the media is talking about that doesn't even cover everything in this bill. There's actually not a lot the media is talking about. It goes into so much detail. It's really cool to see because this was the first bill I've ever actually looked up online, and it is insane. So
yeah, and the whole 1,000 pages is available for you to see.
it is.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? I thought it was crazy. That's all we have today for ChisME. Catch us next time where we untangle another money mystery with just enough drama to make your wallet sweat.
So we've unpacked a lot, and still we've only scratched the surface. So please stay informed on this bill because it will impact many Americans. And remember, whether it's policy or pennies, if it touches your pocket, we'll be talking about it.
This is money.
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 Money. Money. Money Elementary.
Bye. Toodles.
Hi, everyone. We are here at Money Elementary, Heidi and
Vanessa.
we want to clarify a few things before somebody gets the wrong idea.
Or a bad idea. And as exciting or boring as it may be, please listen through all of our legal disclaimer information so that you understand up front that in this podcast, Money Elementary, we are not a financial advisor. If you need advice, go to your accountant,
CPA,
stockbroker,
real estate agent,
psychiatrist,
psychologist,
loan officer,
therapist,
financial advisor,
or a credit analyst.
Nothing said during Money Elementary episodes should be construed as advice.
We're just two sisters who like to talk about all the S that we've been through and who've learned a few things while attending the school of life.
I can't wait to graduate.
Oh, no.
Just kidding.
That's the funeral. Well, that took a dark turn fast. Anyway.
Just two cute, savvy sisters with a decent internet connection,
A microphone.
a computer,
And way
too much time. What? We don't have that much time on our hands.
No, we don't.
But bottom line, all the content we share with you guys is stories of our
True life experiences.
shared anecdotally, and is meant for informational and entertainment purposes
Only. We couldn't make this stuff up even if we wanted to. We hope you enjoy the information we give you and our show.
Thanks! This is Money Elementary.